We did receive just this morning, unfortunately, sort of a last minute from Parks and Wildlife. We had talked with them extensively about doing a separate agreement to further kind of elaborate on the intentions of both parties. And we just received the draft of that from them this morning. We'd hope that that would be able to be passed concurrently with the transfer of the property. So it's our recommendation to postpone or continue the hearing on this item until the February 5th meeting so that we can bring both of those items to the council at the same time. And it's really just meant to be a kind of further explanation of the intentions of both parties, that it isn't really appropriate to include that type of language in the ordinance or deed. Also, we have scheduled a NRC board public meeting for next Monday, January 28th at 6 p.m. at the steam plant, where board member Tim Glenn and myself will be there to do probably a brief presentation on the history of the Natural Resource Center and the role of the board in that, and then answer any questions from the public on how things have come to be and where the board may be headed in the future. So I'd invite anyone from the public to attend that session as well, and hopefully that might be an opportunity to alleviate some concerns that have been expressed by a few members of the public about the history or transparency of that entity.
But I want the public out here to hear my thoughts. I want them to hear all the councilmen's thoughts as well as the mayor's thoughts on this. And it is nothing to try to avoid your questions or anything like that. I just don't want to get in to a push-pull with anyone out there. At this point, I think there's room for that as a true public hearing. And I'd like to hear you people to actually hear from the beginning of this thing where our thought process has started, where we're at today, and why we think like we think.
The ordinance is being postponed. You are not going to approve or disapprove the ordinance tonight. Is that correct?
My recommendation is that the council continue the public hearing until February 5th.
And the protocol, Monica, is for us to go through everything, and at the part of that is public comment. At the end of public comment, we'll have discussion, and someone's going to make a motion. My gut feeling is it will probably be to postpone the decision.
But you don't really know at this point. I mean, is the hearing going to stay open until
Yes, right.
February? Is that
If we
February
postpone
5th?
it, right? Yeah. If we postpone it, the meeting will be open. There will be further public comment at the next one.
Before I get started with my notes, and tonight, instead of rambling on like last time, I'm going to try to stick to this little page here. But I do want to say before I get started, and maybe even give me a couple extra seconds, Mr. Mayor, I like the attitude of Keith, actually. If we understood your thought process, or even, I think it's helpful. I think it's a good intention on Keith's part. I don't see any fault with it myself. It may not be the best way to do it, but when everybody gets their voice out there, usually it'll work out for the better. It's basically we all want to see Salida succeed. Some of our priorities may be higher in one area than the other, but in general, I do think everybody here, and here wants to see Salida succeed. It's just how we get there and what our priorities are. Okay, now I'm going to get down to business here. It was a wise man who said one time, I heard, you can print more money, but you can never print more land. Land, downtown, anywhere land is important, but this piece of property, the location to the steam plant, the location to the boat ramp, the location to the Monarch Spur Trail, Tenderfoot Mountain, you can make so many arguments why this piece of property is so important. And I'll let you make your own exact decisions on why it's so important, but I think everyone will agree that this is a very key piece of property. So I think just to fill the cul-de-sac out there at the NRC, this may be a little bit of a rush and hasty decision that could go bad for us down the road. What I'd like to try to get done tonight, and it sounds like it's going to get done by default, but is just to show some patience on this deal. From what I learned since the last time I spoke up here, we're under no financial pressure out at Vanderveer at the NRC. Right now, if I'm correct, and anyone can interrupt me and tell me if I'm wrong, but if I'm correct, if I have my facts right, after we get the renter in there, the National Forest Service, there's no, we're not in any danger of not making a payment. We will make the Collegiate Peaks mortgage payment every single time, just with the National Forest Service alone, said and done. We are secure. You guys have done a good enough job on all that, for we don't need another renter or another buyer or anything to happen out there to get us out of any risk, right? Okay. That's the first point. That's why I think we can show patience. I say let the Pinto Barn thrive. Let them be a model for industry. Let them raise the value of the whole project. And maybe another person that exactly fits the bill will come along, and then we can get them in there. I say we be very choosy on who goes out there. The land swap that was suggested last meeting, I think there's some validity to it. Let's just say that Lot 3 in Vanderveer is worth $200,000. Doesn't matter if it really is or isn't, but let's just say it is. It's somewhere in that range. Let's say the improvements downtown on the property we're talking about are $500,000. If we were to swap, maybe we would owe the parks $300,000. I think the city of Salida, the citizens, I think they can stomach $300,000 to hold on to that key property downtown, at the same time getting the Parks and Wildlife to jump, if we really want them to jump. I know we do, and they should want to jump. We shouldn't have to prod and poke them or give them some overly good deal. I think when they see what a great thing that's going to be out there, the masterpiece, I think they'll want to go. We have them at the negotiation table for 72 more years. They're not getting away from it. What? We got them. So I realize this is going to get continued on to February 5th. I'm not going to be here February 5th. But I recommend you vote no on this land swap. When it does come up, please. We can do better, and we're not under any time restraint to have to make a move. So.
Can you make the Monday meeting?
The money mean what?
The Monday.
Oh, yes, I will. Yes, and thank you for reminding me. Yes, I will be there on Monday. Yes.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Yes.